Welcome back, you guys. Today is day 6 of the JD's Garage DIY CNC plasma cutter. We're going to be working on the rest of the electrical today. We picked up this miter saw on sale. This thing's awesome. Got a metal blade for it. We're going to be building the bed pan. I just had to do a test of concept. So what I ended up getting was 1 inch by 1 inch stainless steel angle iron, and then I notched it. There's a depth setter on the miter saw, so I notched it to a 1/4 inch down basically, because the peak is about almost 3/4. So we're about a 1/4 inch down. If you guys can see this, we're gonna make one with you guys, but this is what we're doing. And we bought this is 29.5 inches. These are, I think, 27.5 inches. So these will just sit. I'll have to notch them out a little bit because the saw blade's just a hair under an 1/8 inch. These are an 1/8 inch thick, so I'll have to clean these up. But it'll sit exactly like this, 11 across. I'm gonna go down. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, now we just take our square edge and we're gonna mark the other side and we'll start cutting. All right, you guys, this thing came out fantastic. What's nice too is see if I can get down, it is just below the bed pan. So if I really wanted to, I could actually still lay a piece that's longer off of this and still get a good flat cutting surface. But this actually worked tremendously well. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. It's just kind of a idea. Again, this is stainless, so it doesn't rust. These are regular steel. The bed pan's stainless. So if you get the JD's Garage, they tell you which pan to buy on Amazon. So this is a 30 inch by 28. And so what I did is I went this direction with the angle iron to give it reinforcement on this bar so it doesn't sag in the middle, because I saw a lot of people's putting their slats in was sagging in the middle. So this actually holds all the weight on this angle iron between this bar and that bar. So these are just floating slats basically. Easy to change. I added a little bend to them. Just kind of gives them a little bit of rigidity, plus they don't move as much. But it's nice and flat. See if I can't. There you go. I got to readjust my machine, but we're under 1 degree, so I got to make a couple adjustments on the arm. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that's come out so far. Look at that one. Boom. So before we finish this all up, we'll dial it in one more time. I know part of it's my shop floor. I think if you look right now, this caster is really kind of just floating. So, but yeah, on to the electrical, guys. All right, so with the JD's Garage CNC plasma cutter, this is one of the plasma cutters they recommend. I had a here at the shop, we had a Eastwood plasma cutter, but it wasn't CNC capable. So I went ahead and I got the one they recommended, which is the Lotus or Lotos, however you pronounce that, LTP 5500D. Also, you have to order separate. If you're going to be using this on 110, you'll need the attachment. So just so you guys know, I bought this and then I ended up ordering this another day. But here we have our control signal and our arc voltage. So kind of got everything everywhere currently. So with the Lotus, it comes with CNC connecting. CNC port is optional function. It does not come with standard machine. So obviously you want to make sure the one you buy has the ports, and it gives us our drawing. We are going with the port we built for you guys last time on our last wiring video. The two wires plus the shield will be going to that relay inside the box. That is going to go to pins 1 and 2 on plasma cutter, or where the arc start is how it's described in their electrical diagram. So we're looking for arc start. We're going to continue here to work on, this is that ground bus I bought. So we're going to run all our shielded wires to drain through the ground bus. We're going to work on getting the X, Y, and Z axis motor terminals here, finish up the wiring of the box, get everything bolted down, and then we'll start working on our actual wiring to the motors and to the plasma cutter here. Again, we already have this one complete. So on one end, this is going to be for the arc start. It's going to go from here. The Lotus comes with, I mentioned in another video, its own connectors, which should be the same anyway. They're all standard. So our 4-pin connector. We're going to go to the other end of this wire here once we know the length we need, because it's going to go from the box to here, and depending on where this is sitting compared to where this is mounted. So we'll go ahead and kind of get started. Okay, just a quick thing real quick. So I've got the ground bus mounted here under our Y axis motor. What I did is I just took a label maker. I currently have mine going Y, X, Z. I had made a little scribe mark on here because when you set these pins, it's important to remember which one's which. So Y, X, Z, so that way when we're working on the wires, we don't get confused which one we're working on. But yeah, so and then I went ahead and did a arc start one for labeling the outside of the box for this one here. So, and then we got the the Y, Z, and X axis stickers for labeling when we get these other ones built. So, just keeping it organized, nice and clean, guys. Alright, so now we're going to take our 5-prong connectors. We're going to go ahead and get everything soldered in with our shielded wire. This is our 4-wire shield. What we're going to do is we're going to do just like we did here. We're going to build little jumpers long enough to reach the motors. And then we'll finish wiring inside here, get this bolted down, and then we can start working on the external wiring. So. Tedious task, but here you go. We got our wires soldered in nicely. We got our shield wire on terminal 5. So we went terminal 1 and 2 is black and green, terminal 3 and 4 is red and white, because that's the colors this wire has. That being said, you want to make sure you look at your stepper motor, whatever stepper motor you buy, whatever brand. Make sure I don't catch anything on fire. So for me, A plus and A negative, sorry, A positive and A negative are black and green, whereas on my instructions, black and green are on B negative and B positive. So they're opposite. So what you want to do for me is I'm keeping it the same as my motor. Replacing blue for white because mine only has white, not blue. But That way we know we're powering the motors correctly, and we'll just switch it on the JD's wiring harness when we wire it to the servo. Instead of black and green going to B negative and B positive, ours will be red and white going to B negative, B positive, and black and green will be going to A negative, A positive. So something to make sure you keep this little paper out of your motors. I'm hoping, I thought I kept all 3 of them. My motors are the same brand, so I'm hoping that the wiring harness is the same on all 3 motors, X, Y, and Z. So we're gonna wire it that way and hope for the best, because I can't find my little sheet. I thought I kept all 3. All right, so I'll get you guys in there to see. Put some shrink wrap on these. From the outside, this is how it's looking. We have one more for the switch on the Z-axis, what I originally thought I had wired. So it's going to be another 3-wire here. It's technically 2-wire, but plus the shield. So we're gonna build one more of these. Probably put it right next to this one here for that one, and then we can wire in the box. Okay, so we got everything labeled. Y, X, probe, arc start, and Z axis. All right, you guys. Quite a bit of work, but all of our motors are done. Here's our ground bus. Our ground going to earth ground, sharing the ground there. All of our drain wires, our shielding wires, nice and soldered. And so they all go down into terminals here. So the inside of the box is complete. Now all we got to do is build the harnesses from the plugs to the motors, and then build the motor side of the harness. And we still got to put up our there's the table there, put up the piece of conduit to hold all the wires above the machine. So what I found, according to the plans, says pin 1 and 2 on my Lotus plasma cutter. 1 and 2 start control input. So we want the input. I wasn't sure if it was going to be the output or the input, but we want the input. So it's going to be 1 and 2. I'll come around here, show you guys. I actually ended up being able to mount the box. This box comes with brackets. Get in there for you. And so it's actually able to triangulate the brackets. So there's a total of 3. I just used self-starting screws. So yeah, the box is mounted. I got this cable done already, which is our arc start. So this comes out with the shielded wire as a 3-prong. And then this is the in that came with the plasma cutter. So terminal 1 and 2. And then I just terminated the shield in the metal housing here. You can actually see a little bit of the shield wire just dangling there. But yeah, so that harness is done. We're gonna build the rest of these harnesses. We got some nice sheeting on them. We used some shrink wrap so they look nice, kind of extra protection. And then we are gonna build our wire holder as well. Alright, we're working on the first axis harness. You can see here. I don't know if you can see that. Got good solder points. What I like to do, I bend the tabs up, run the wire through the bottom, fold them over, fold the tabs back down, and then fill the bowls with solder. When you get a really good solder, the wire's got an extra layer of protection by going up through the tab. I got these harnesses pre-cut roughly to the length I need them. They're cut a little long, so these go back in. What I like to do is, seen on the videos before, take a little piece of vacuum line, real small diameter. Just grab this basically out of my junk drawer. I split it down the middle, like so. And then I like to slip it over the harness, kind of like that. Look for a locking tab. Oh, kind of look like that. And you see that piece of hose is in there. Gives you a good place to take your fitting and kind of crush against, so it actually squeezes the wires. If you're using thicker wire, you wouldn't have to worry about it, but this stuff is so small. There you guys go. So we're going to repeat this step 2 more times for the X, Y, and Z axis. So I'm not going to record that since it's the exact same process. However, we're going to leave these ends undone because we are going to sheath the end with our sheathing. We're going to shrink wrap at the ends just to give it extra rigidity, make it look nice. Also, we are going to be wiring these and the respective pins to the X, Y, and Z motors. So we'll be using these for the X, Y, and Z motors. Alright, harnesses are built. We labeled them here on this end, so we know what we're working with on this end. We've got the torch set just in here for now. We've got it tightened down, squared. We're gonna run the torch first. All right, it took me a minute to figure out how to connect these to use which ones went on which side. So as you can see, here's our shield wire. We have a solder joint. We're going to run a little pigtail to this, and we'll probably end it at one of these bolts here, probably here on the motor itself. We're going to do the same connection to the other motors, and this thing is all wired up. Next video we bring you guys is going to be basically this thing up and running. So let's hope everything goes smoothly.